And now let's hear from a guy who I think is the ultimate leader of this team. Here's DeMario Davis at the podium with some takeaways on training camp getting underway. His third stint with the Jets, his third tour of duty. And here comes training camp for DeMario Davis.
DeMario, when you look at you and Gino are back here, so to speak. He's talked to us a little bit about, you guys have spoken about that, that dynamic of coming back to a place you've been. What are some of the things you guys talked about and what the experience?
We had our first go around here, and we were young, got very experienced in the game, and did our best. But then you go off to places and you learn so much more. You get exposed to not just the game on the field, but the game of life. You get what it means to be inside this industry, one of the greatest games on the planet, one of the most entertaining spaces in the world. And you just get exposed and learn a lot. And to be able to accumulate all of that knowledge and wisdom in different locations, and then to be joining forces. So we got a chance to reconnect a couple years ago and just kind of catch up on where our journeys had brought us, never thinking or assuming that we would be back here together. And so to be able to rejoin forces and reconnect after some of those deeper conversations is special. And I believe as I get ready to enter into year 15, the thing that just keeps coming to me is compounded interest. And the way that compounded interest works is your old work is foundational to what you are building on. And so we have all these years of experience and all these moments inside of this game that we're able to bring here at the same time and to be able to build on that. And I think it's unique when multiple people are coming together with that type of collective interest. And so I'm excited.
They need him to be healthy, man. This defense is going to be a lot different with him out there versus when he's not out there. And by the way, shout out to DeMario for rocking the old school logo.
Yeah.
The Jet gear there. Third tour of duty with the Jets. And when he was drafted, that was the logo back in the day. So I love it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just been in, like, that windbreaker's been in his closet for however long, and he broke it out, right? Yeah, he seems like one of those guys who's not going to be speaking about the NFL, post-NFL, talking about how they can't make $100 million livable after the taxes and stuff that we've been seeing in recent weeks, which has been ridiculous. Oh, I made $200 million. I can't live off of it. It's like, that is 100% your problem, dude. Yeah, Davis, I was a little bit worried with, like, hey, Tyron Smith was really good with the Cowboys the year prior to coming here, and then he completely fell off a cliff. But
he was a second-team All-Pro with the Cowboys the year before the Jets got him.
But big difference, obviously, is that one tackle, you need a little bit more athleticism than you need with linebacker, right? But secondarily, and the most important thing, or I guess firstly, the most important point is that DeMario hasn't had the injuries that Tyron Smith has had. Like, Tyron Smith was coming here and is okay, well, he needs to be managed in camp and he might miss, 4 or 5 games this year, but for those games that he's playing, he'll be really good. So, like, there's an inkling of, okay, we should be concerned about this dude's knees, or I think it was his knees. I forget exactly what it was, but DeMario hasn't missed a game in I'm not knock on wood because we have terrible luck, but he hasn't missed a game in how long? I think maybe it was one last year, but before that it was like not for years and years and years. So he's been remarkably healthy. Again, knock on wood for that one, not injured. And last year, I didn't really see a dip in play. Now
he didn't miss a game last year. He missed one game in 2024, and that was it. And every other year, he plays 17 games or 16 games. He really is an Iron Man. He doesn't miss time.
Yeah. So after the one in 2024, what was the one before that? Was there any other ones before that? Like one game in his career he's missed or something like that? It's a crazy stat that he's like the D'Brickashaw Ferguson of linebackers.
So he's missed one game in his entire NFL career, and it was in 2024. I believe it was a hamstring injury that kept him out that week.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. But yeah, no, he was really good last year. We did the film. He looked awesome in many aspects, not just in run defense too. His coverage, yeah, he's not the most fleet of foot guy in the world. You also have to consider he's 250, 255, so he's a big dude in general. But he knows where to be at in coverage, and that's something that we haven't had in years, really, since like healthy CJ Mosley. So DeMario is massive to this defense. If not, I'm not going to speak to that. If not, it's not going to be good. I'll tell you that right now. Because then we got Sherwood and Maui Noah, or Sherwood and Walker, or Sherwood and Ball. Not great. So DeMario is a huge cog to this defense.
Hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take. It's more of a prediction. Darren Muji trades or signs a linebacker before week 1. Linebacker this year is going to be the equivalent of what defensive tackle was last year.
Counter hot take. He trades for an interior offensive lineman because we need a starter there.
I'm glad you brought this up because I made this point. A year ago, Captain Accountability had Joe Tippmann have to compete for a starting job with Josh Myers to be the center. AVT gets hurt, so then Tippmann slides over to guard, and Myers is the center. Joe Tippmann has now been extended. He was better than Myers all last summer. We all knew he was going to be the starting center had AVT stayed healthy. So why are we a year later now and Josh Myers has just handed the center job with no competition? He should be competing with someone. Like, it makes no sense that we're just going to hand the job to Josh Myers when Joe Tippmann, who's a better player, had to compete with Myers last year at this time.
Yeah, it was like a facade, just like, oh, I do make guys compete, but he really doesn't. Because like I said, Tippmann was easily better, and now Myers just walks into the season as the starting center with no competition at all. And like you said, and I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, 3, 4, whatever. I've been on the show for a while. He was signed to be a backup. Like at that time he was signed, there was no spot on the offensive line for him. So he's a very good, capable interior offensive lineman, depth swing piece. That's exactly what he played like. Now I understand if he were to come in last season and ball out in a new situation and he was near a mid offensive interior offensive lineman or center specifically, I guess, then yeah, sure. Like extend him to a contract. Maybe you bring in some competition for him just to keep him, ready to go. But he performed exactly like what you expected him to last year. And that was a bottom 3 to 5 center in the league, a guy who's in a good interior offensive line backup. And that's why in the 4th round, that's the only thing I really didn't love about the 4th round. And again, I have some qualms with it. I would change it a little bit if I could, ideally. But in the 4th round, I didn't think it was worth getting Darrell Jackson Jr. and then trading up for Klubnik. If you love Klubnik that much, take him at Darrell Jackson's spot and hope Darrell Jackson falls. If not, Connor Lew was there. Sam Hecht was there. So there were some guys I liked in the interior of the offensive line. And transparently, did I watch them a ton? No, I could watch them and say they suck. But, based where they were on the boards and stuff, it seemed like they would have been a good pick. And I think walking into a season with Xavier Newman, Inez Cooper, and Max Mitchell as your Max Mitchell's your backup left tackle. So you even want to consider him a backup guard, I don't know. But let's call it Inez Cooper and Newman as your primary backup interior offensive lineman. I do not love that. So I really hope they swing a trade for a starter. I was really hoping for, was it Pochik last week? We've been talking about for months.
Ethan Pochik. Yep. The Jake Asman Show is brought to you by PrizePicks. Check out PrizePicks right now. If you're a sports fan, they have something for everyone, especially if you're one of my listeners and you're gearing up for the upcoming Jets season. For player picks on PrizePicks, you just pick a player you like and you go more or less on a few of their stats. Check out some of the numbers they have for some of your favorite Jet players: Geno Smith, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, and many more. PrizePicks should be your go-to, and check out their new offer right now. Play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you need to do is sign up and use that code HMA. That's PrizePicks code HMA. Download the app now or click the link in the description to download the PrizePicks app today.
Quick question for you. One, so thankful football's back. Like, I know we're not in pads yet. I think Jake told me yesterday it's going to be till Saturday. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens when the pads get slapped on. And,
it could be, well, they're going to practice, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to go full. Yeah, it could be Friday. I don't think they're going to go like full contact. Yeah, exactly. They'll do uppers. I don't think they're going to do like live tackling when we're there Saturday, though. I'd be surprised.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see that pop up in my feed, and then we'll have a lot more conjecture to talk about in terms of the team going forward. Somebody mentioned it yesterday on Jake's show, Joe. I wanted to ask you, is there a Jet that like maybe not a lot of people are talking about right now that you might expect to like have a breakout training camp? Maybe somebody that's not a rookie or a free agent or something that you're looking at?
It's a hard question to answer in July because we talk about every single possible thing. The only guy I will say, and I know I'll get heat for this, I am not glazing this guy at all. Arian Smith got open a few more times than I expected last year, going back and watching him. I'm not saying that he would have had a great a great year if he's on a better offense, but maybe he could have put up, instead of like 5 catches or whatever he had in 50 yards, maybe he could have had 12 catches for 150 yards and maybe a touchdown or 2. I see Isaiah Williams in the chat too. That's another answer because he produced a little bit last year. But Arian Smith, I would say, like, I'm really reaching there because we've really talked about a lot of things. But that's a guy that I'm hoping to see an impact from, because you'd like to see him overtake Tim Patrick's role, right, as the 4. But yeah, I like that. I like Isaiah Williams. I'd say Stiggers. Stiggers is another guy. I think it was a little bit more impressive than I thought last year. So if he can continue to build upon that and be like the 4th or 5th and be, signed like, Brandon Echols was, obviously not by the Jets, but another team, maybe he can fill that role as a good, capable depth guy. But again, purposely reaching because it's July 28th. So we've talked about every single thing possible at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. How do you feel about the cornerback room depth overall? Are you comfortable about it, or is there somebody you're eyeing on the waiver wire that we might be able to snag in training camp, or where are you at right there?
Yeah, I love the depth. I really do. I like 2 through 5 with that room. I like Stiggers. I like Pons. I think Brownlee's a good slot backup or like a dime player. I think it's not depth that they're missing. It's really just the true corner one, right? Hopefully Izzy Thomas could develop into that role and be cornerback 1 after the season, but is Stevens going to be here post this year as a cornerback too? Like, that's a big question. So I'm okay with the depth, no doubt. I actually think the depth is good, but I think they're missing a starter still at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What about linebacker or on the interior offensive line? I heard you mention Zeitler earlier. Is there anywhere else at linebacker on the interior line that you might be looking at off the waiver wire?
I was looking at Potrick and Zeitler for a while, so I don't really know much past that just because I don't have the list in front of me. And in terms of linebacker, I know there's a couple of guys out there, right, Jake? Like, there's Okariki's out there. I think Bobby Wagner's out there. So maybe those guys are, Milano. Maybe those guys are looking for like starting gigs though, where maybe you have to go to like the 2nd and 3rd tier of guys who'd be okay with being a higher paid backup. So you probably have to dip into like the 4th or 5th guy in that list. But I think it's worthwhile because I'm not very faithful in Walker or Ball or whoever else it may be.
Nice. Heck yeah. All right. Well, I might let you guys get some other callers on. Thank you so much for the time. I hope you and the fellow Asmaniacs have a wonderful day. JETS, Jets. We're back, baby. Let's go.
Derek, we are back, baby. Don't let go of the rope.
Just don't let go of the rope.
All right. What ridiculous phrase is Glenn going to give us when he speaks at 10:15 tomorrow? Every time he speaks, there's something, man.
Maybe one like Beast, where if you get beat up, you have to ask for it again because you only live so long. Because that's what I do when I get my ass kicked. I say, again, please, again, sir. So I don't know. It was funny because I was thinking this show was gonna be Aaron Glenn. We were setting it up, and then you're like, oh, Geno, we have to talk about Geno Smith again. I'm like, oh, great. For the 5th time in 6 weeks, I have to talk about a bunch of Geno Smith stuff. But I'm hoping Glenn just doesn't put his foot in his mouth as much as he did last year, and is just genuine. I think he tried to be a little bit of a character last year, and was trying to be who he thought he should be.
Coaching. It's coaching. Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
Yeah. Just be yourself. Don't insult other staffs and stuff who have proven more than you have, or whatever, maybe your players, or just speak normally.
Yeah. Just don't create a headline. Yeah. Don't say play calling your superpower. Don't say Geno Smith's going to lead you to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
Just be normal.
Yeah, no, it would be nice. Obviously, it's really not that big of a deal in totality. If he wins, it doesn't really matter what he does in the media.
We already ruined all the good grace from last year. So yeah,
but when you lose the way you did it just compounds our anger towards you, So like he really pissed people off with some of the competition stuff and anointing Justin Fields and stuff. And I get it. Like, you want to be confident in your players and you want to instill confidence in them, but there's also a limit to how much confidence you can instill in them, right? Like, you don't need to go overboard with some of the comments And I think the biggest way he put his foot in his mouth in the media, and tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like you have a better memory for this stuff specifically. Talking about the frickin' Broncos game, and I would have thrown a Hail Mary if that happened again. The next week, same situation, doesn't do it. Like, that was probably that was one of the biggest gripes I had with the entire season, that he literally said it and did the same exact thing the next week. So again, it doesn't matter all that much in the grand scheme of it. If he wins, fine. We'll deal with whatever the media is, which I do think people tend to overrate, whether somebody's like jovial or somebody's more like calm and relaxed, whatever it is, because like there's been people like, oh, Pete Carroll's the best coach. He's so energetic on the sideline, hypes up his guys. You know, we don't want those guys who are just like quiet. Bill Belichick he didn't say anything on the sideline. He's just sitting there doing nothing. So as long as you win, it doesn't really matter what personality you have and stuff. And a little bit same thing in the media. But again, I think it just compounded our anger towards him last year. So yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't put his foot in his mouth, but we'll see.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins.
God.
Yeah,
0-7 last year. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, that was rough. Again, I think I recorded my first Fernando Mendoza play on like October 13th. So we're talking about like 5 weeks into the season. I'm hoping that does not happen again. Yeah, it was historic. That was the worst year I've ever been a part of.
I agree. I think that was the worst, because as bad as year 2 of Rodgers was, and like all the just like it cratered and Salah there was like, well, there's going to be a new regime coming in, and that provides hope. There was nothing. Like, they kept the head coach. The job was looked at as incredibly unattractive, which I get. And it's just like, we're just in this for another year. So it's like he either figures this out or it's a miserable year. Now there could be some light at the end of the tunnel with a roster that's attractive for the next coach, but we still got to get there. So please be watchable this year.
I think you can argue 23 because of the injury, and I already booked my flight for Dallas and stuff. But there was still, like you said, that hope of Aaron Rodgers the next year, build the roster, all that stuff. So that's an argument. I think you can argue 12 was a really bad year. Just how quickly we hit rock bottom after 9, 10, and a little 11 being decent. So I would say 12, 23 or last year were definitely the worst. To me, it was the worst last year because there was no hope. There's nothing to build upon with that situation. And then you get deeper into the quarterbacks and stuff, and their seasons play out, and it's like, okay, a 1-horse race. Simpson's probably not going to be in play at 2. So what the hell do we do? We're getting blown out consistently. I could pretty confidently say that was the worst year of my Jets fandom. It was awful. So.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.